MARTINSAMUEL, why the delay over Harry Kane? Let's get on with it. No doubt Harry Kane and Nuno Espirito Santo have had their little chat now, so both parties are aware that Harry wants to leave and Nuno wants him to stay. And it could perhaps then be argued that the conversation was unnecessary because the world and his wife know that already. Kane has been dissatisfied on the record for months now, and what manager wants to lose the Premier League's top goal scorer and creator? Even so, what the hell? How has it been left to August 9, 5 days before the season starts, for these men to speak about the future? Was Nuno too busy? Wouldn't Harry pick up the telephone? Why does nobody find this a strange way for a football club to conduct business? It's not as if Tottenham are weary of having to make room in their trophy cabinet of late. This way of working, the delays, the standoffs, the incessant haggling, has hampered so many campaigns. What might Tottenham have accomplished with more certainty, with well-rehearsed plans? If Kane is going to Manchester City after weeks of brinkmanship, bidding, rejections, improved offers, claim and counterclaim, then how harmful is it that, while this has been unfolding, Danny Ings has grown tired of waiting and signed for Aston Villa? Smart club, Villa. Did the deal for Jack Grealish, but completed all their recruitment too, so Dean Smith would have some semblance of team shape to start the season. What does Nuno have? Maybe Kane, maybe Lautaro Martinez of Inter Milan. Maybe both, maybe neither. Ings could have been a great deal for Tottenham. A striker with a proven Premier League record. He does not solve the problem of replacing Kane's assists, but he could rival him for goals, 46 in 100 games for Southampton, or 1 every 2.17 matches. Kane scores every 1.52 games for Tottenham, but plays in a superior team. Who knows what Ings might have achieved with Kane's service? He may have got near that strike rate. Martinez would come in at more than double the price of Ings with a strike rate of 1 every 2.69 games for Inter. It's still an excellent record, and he's 23, but players from outside English football often need time to adapt, particularly those hurled in when the season is underway. So it might have been good to talk, to see if there was a chance Kane was for turning, to reinforce the club's stance, to set a price that gets the deal moving, to pick a way through another summer in which coherent preparation appears to be Tottenham's last priority. If there really is nothing left to say, why don't they all just get on with it? One question remains about the proposed Super League, now dead to all but 3 clubs. How could anyone trust people who cannot turn a profit at Barcelona with running football? The numbers surrounding the departure of Lionel Messi are staggering, as was Barca's recruitment policy. Barcelona have lost every player worth keeping and kept many of those who weren't good enough in the first place. They have squandered reserves that would have kept rivals in profit for decades, and once subject to the same financial fair play rules that were being used to keep ambitious smaller clubs down, they have imploded. How did these people presume they were entitled to run European football when they have driven a great institution off the cliff? When Terry Venables won the league at Barcelona in 1985, it was their first domestic title since 1974, and the one before that was in 1960. Athletic Bilbao and Real Sociedad had won the league more recently. Lionel Messi won as many titles with Barcelona as the club itself did between 1929 and 1985. So this was a significant club that became a global superpower due to the efforts of a handful of individuals, great players, great coaches and smart executives. It is their legacy that has been wasted by men who think they should speak for every other club and league in Europe. In reality, they shouldn't be trusted to sell knockoff shirts along Las Ramblas. The West Ham takeover bid continues, or at least the vague promises do. Now the Ferdinand brothers have been recruited to the cause. Both Anton and I are really happy that Pi want to help improve the experience for fans, said Rio Ferdinand. How? Exactly. Are they going to ditch the London Stadium's hated running track and its dual-purpose use for athletics? Probably not, because it's in the contract, and Philip Beard, of Consortium Pi Capital, was marketing and sponsorship director at London 2012 and part of the team who brought the Olympics to London with all its legacy failings. Maybe Pi intend reshaping the stadium, perhaps building higher banks for better sightlines, a development that could cost tens, maybe hundreds of millions. Or maybe Pi have just done another tenancy deal with the useless, lead-footed LLDC, landlords so incompetent they still haven't struck a naming rights agreement 9 years after the games. Who knows, because Pi haven't said. Not even on the Twitter account that appears to have been launched to communicate with West Ham supporters and stir up trouble for the current owners in lieu of an acceptable bid or public plan. In other news, it seems Declan Rice is staying with the club as they enter Europe this season. That will come as a huge disappointment to Pi Capital ally and noted West Ham enthusiast Rio Ferdinand, who seemed very keen that he should join Manchester United. And the final score, men 24, women 13. That's the number of gold medals won by British athletes, including team participation events, in Tokyo. Why divide by gender? Who knows, the British Olympic Association started it. Before the event began they were proudly trumpeting that more female athletes were going to the games, as if anyone ever sat around counting. It's a team. It's Team GB. But that set the tone, and so it continued. Why aren't the male track and field team doing as well as the females? Quick capsule review. Neither really delivered. Why aren't the men's hockey players as good as the women? And, by day 6, where are our female gold medal winners? Because the first 9 golds went to men. It's ridiculous. The point of a team is to build unity. Kai White, who won BMX silver, screaming Bethany Shriever home to BMX gold was one of the most uplifting sights of the games. The mixed races were a highlight too. Now, more than ever, why pitch competition, as if it's a battle of the sexes as well as an international test? Perhaps the third British and Irish Lions test in South Africa will be a turning point for rugby's rule makers and enforcers. Water carriers cum coaches such as Rassie Erasmus should be easy enough to outlaw, but what the hell has happened to the scrum feed? Increasingly, it is a joke, but even given lax modern standards those delivered by Cobus Reinach of South Africa were an affront to intelligence. They weren't just slightly skewed, but thrown directly to the second row. The otherwise excellent Matthew Raynal did nothing, as if referees have simply given up. Reinach even shaped to feed the ball in diagonally with not even a hint of pretense. As all scrums appear to take 3 minutes to set these days, and directing the throw to this extent makes them as good as uncontested between top-tier nations, what's the point? It is little different in other sports. We all accept that every throw or free kick in football is taken 10 yards in advance of where it should be, and at Trent Bridge last week India's batsmen KL Rahul and Rishabh Pant were about to adjourn the play for rain by walking off, without even consulting the umpires, until persuaded otherwise by James Anderson. Incredibly, the officials seemed less bothered than anyone. Later, 5 minutes before lunch, they let Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja break for a drink. Equally, fielders now leave the play on a whim. Stamina is one of the supreme tests of elite sport, yet this removes that challenge. It can be argued that the modern focus on health and safety makes umpires uncomfortable with any refusal of refreshment or even rest. Yet, generally in sport, there seems a reluctance to deal with the minutiae. Yet the scrum feed is not a minor detail, nor is the position of a free kick, and certainly that the commencement or curtailment of play as the umpire's call should be sacrosanct. Officials must get tougher.